Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our preview of The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 4. Ellie and Dina are now in Seattle, and with that in mind, who is there to greet them? Hey, it's none other than Jeffrey Wright, character actor extraordinaire. And okay, I'll say this from the start. We've mentioned this in other videos. We have not played the games. Please do not leave any spoilers from the games, but I am familiar with the fact that Jeffrey Wright also voiced this character on The Last of Us, the game, Isaac, so I'm curious to see what it looks like in TV form.
I'm very excited. I really like him.
Yeah,
So I was excited to see that he was part of it. I didn't know that he had voiced a character on the game until today when Matt just told me. So it's very exciting that he's then going to be part of this as well.
yeah, we're going to talk a little bit in this video about who he could be, what sort of impact he could have
Mhm.
on Ellie and Dina, and then also beyond all of that, what's happening with Ellie and Dina in this promo? Because I think there's a lot to get into there as well.
Yeah, I mean, for the last episode that didn't have a lot of action going on, they are definitely seemingly going to be making up for it in this episode. That trailer was filled with infected, filled with action. There's all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, and it feels like it kind of has to be, right? Like this is based on a video game, and without even
Right.
playing The Last of Us, I think gamers would probably not enjoy it as much if you didn't have at least some string of time where you're taking out a bunch of infected left and right.
Yeah, this is the thing. It can't just be fully story based like Mass Effect.
Well, why?
Yeah,
Why
Mass
are
Effect.
you throwing
Yes, catching a
strays?
stray.
Mass Effect 2 is one of the 5 best video games of all time. Stop your nonsense.
Listen, I really wanted to like Mass Effect. Truly, I really wanted to, but there was too much story, not enough killing.
It's not your favorite game on the Citadel, then. Okay, well, we're
It is not.
going to talk all about what's coming up in this episode, share some theories. Before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because, yeah, we are going to be here for more Mass Effect. See, now I have it on the brain. We're going to be here for more Last of Us reviews and previews. They are making a Mass Effect show, by the way. But then beyond all of that, we are in the midst of covering The Handmaid's Tale right now. You just aired on Netflix, and coming up, we have a wide array of exciting stuff, including Dexter, Resurrection, Alien Earth, and also Duster, which is this upcoming Max series that has Josh Holloway, and it comes from J.J. Abrams, who you may know from Lost and a number of other things you might very well enjoy.
Absolutely. So hit that subscribe button, stick with us. And also, if you want to support us further, you can follow us over on our Patreon. We'll have a link for you below. Over there, we are going to be covering Murderbot, which is going to be airing on Apple TV Plus, as well as Criminal Minds Evolution Season 3, which is going to be airing on Paramount Plus. And this is the only place that you will be able to get those reviews is on our Patreon. So thank you so much to everyone who is supporting us there.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate that. Okay.
All right, who is Isaac? That is not actually for any of you gamers to answer in the comments for us. This is for all of us non-gamers watching
Yeah.
the show. He looks terrifying.
Well, okay, here's the thing. We can put on our Sherlock Holmes caps here and do a little bit of deductive reasoning, I feel. Because let's just put it this way. Jeffrey Wright is a big enough actor. They're not going to cast him to play some random stooge who's just wandering aimlessly around Seattle. And yeah, he does look terrifying and he does look formidable. So, I mean, to me, I'm going into this with the assumption that he is some sort of higher up within the WLF or Wolves. I'm not saying he is for sure like the big boss just because we don't know the hierarchy, but he could be sort of like a big boss leading to a bigger boss down the road. I just tend to think with, Jeffrey Wright being an older gentleman than Caitlin Dever and most of these people who are a part of Abby's group, I think he's in a position of some power.
I feel like he's got to be in a position of power. You're right. I mean, this actor's not going to roll out of bed for nothing, right? Like, it's got to be
No.
a really good, juicy role. He is an older gentleman, so it feels like he probably would be in a leadership position, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing in this trailer, he also does seem like somebody who's getting their hands really dirty. He is not just, riding a desk, telling everybody what to do.
No.
He's down there getting his hands dirty and all of of this. He really looks like somebody that I do not want to go up against in some of the stuff that
No,
I saw in that trailer.
he feels like an even bigger version of what we saw with Melanie Linsky's character in the first season, where she was
Yes.
sort of like this dangerous leader, if you will. But we already know that the wolves seem to be a much larger group than anything we've seen before. I mean, you brought up the tanks in the review. There's a lot of people, and I think
Yeah.
the part of this that's the worst news of all for Ellie and Dina is just that they don't seem to have a full amount of awareness as to what they're really up against here.
No, they do not. But I feel like if they run into Isaac, they are going to learn very quickly just how big this organization is and what they are up against. They are only two people up against so many people.
Okay, here's where I'm going to put a tinfoil hat on, because this is what I think is going to happen in this episode, is that they're going to be wandering around through Seattle, probably taking out a clicker or two or running into some other dangerous people, but then eventually somebody within the wolves is going to find them. And
Yeah.
just as it happens in every single story out there, including alien invasions, where they're always like, take me to your leader,
Yeah.
they're going to take them to the leader, who is Isaac. And then Isaac may be able to figure out, okay, what do we do with these two people? And I mean, to me, at that point, the question then becomes, okay, does Isaac have a larger council around him? Or when is it going to be that they actually see somebody who was in Abby's group?
Yeah, that's the thing. To, quote Negan from The Walking Dead, people are a resource, right? So is it possible that they would just end up bringing them to Isaac or to whoever the leader is to figure out if there is a way to use them as a resource? Or then is Abby going to show up and be like, yeah, this is, I did this to Joel and these people were there. These people will never be a resource. They will never help us. They will never team up with us. They just got to go. They are just a problem.
I think what's going to be the most curious part of this to me, because I'm kind of sitting back now and thinking, okay, Ellie, Dina, you guys have no real chance if it's just the two of you versus Isaac's group, all of the wolves, Abby's group, like all this. We love underdog stories, but the truth of the matter is, it also has to be a realistic underdog story. It's not going to
Yes.
be that believable to me if these two young women are going to be able to take down this entire organization on their own. What I want to see happen is for the two of them to try to find a couple of weak links over there. Can you find some moles? Can you find some double agents? Can you find a couple of people who may be unhappy with this current situation? Because it doesn't look like that great a place to be. It just seems like there's a lot of really dangerous people and tanks in this dangerous hierarchy. I feel like somebody may be inclined to help them.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they might be able to find a weak link in there. The other thing is like there is the infected, and we've seen them kind of being used in ways before. We've also seen that on The Walking Dead, where
Yeah.
they've used the walkers to be as sort of a resource to be able to go up against humans. But I mean, this place is really locked down. I just don't know how they're really going to be able to do that. I mean, in the trailer, it does look like there are going to be a bunch of scenes where there is going to be some action with
Yeah.
some of the infected. So is Seattle really that boarded off from the infected? Maybe.
I'm conflicted about it, where I'm just sort of thinking, okay, maybe the whole city's boarded off. Maybe you found like a little community that you can board off. I mean, well, for all the Seattle residents in the comments, like I'm curious, is there like a specific neighborhood that would be really easy to insulate? Because it's just big picture. Seattle's a very big city. Seattle was
Huge.
this is a big enough place that at one point had like sports teams for every single league. By the way, bring the Supersonics back. You guys got
Okay.
robbed when they moved away. But no, I just feel like it's too big a city to realistically like be able to protect from all of the infected that are out there. This is not like Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Wyoming, it was like the least populated state in the US before all of this happened.
Okay, so the big moment of this trailer is seeing Dina holding a gun, pointing it at Ellie, Ellie putting her hands up. Does anybody feel like this is just a rug pull? Because that's what it feels like to me. Like maybe they were running through a warehouse or through the city or whatever, and they both kind of turned around the corner and she's holding the gun and she's got her hands up. Because maybe either we've got some wolves around or maybe there's infected behind her and really she's just going to shoot behind her. That's what that feels like. Otherwise, I don't know what is going on here. Why would Dina ever be holding a gun on Ellie?
It's totally a rug pull. Like I will accept no other explanation at this point because it's sort of a situation where you guys have already taken away Joel. You can't also make it so that Ellie is fully alone for the remainder of the series because that's just miserable. Like the idea of Dina to me is sort of this hope that Ellie will have someone who's always in her corner. And I'm viewing that scene as maybe it's a situation where Dina's trying to prove herself to the wolves if she has to go undercover with some of them to show that she's willing to turn against people, or it's something like you've suggested where she's just taking out somebody who is on the other side. It's totally something that they're trying to trick us around. Like, I don't blame The Last of Us for putting this in the preview because you want to have like that moment where you get people really excited or shocked, but like, honestly, you know, we haven't played the games. For all of you who haven't played the games out there, I mean, you can let us know in the comments, but it's like, do you really think that that there's going to be like some sort of Ellie versus Dina? I just don't buy it.
Yeah, it's too grim. Like we just lost Joel. And I
Yeah.
understand this is a grim world that they've created here on TV. So, yeah, could that be a thing? Sure. Lots of us have played games where you're moving to different characters like Grand Theft Auto 5. I think I'm the only person that didn't like that game because I only liked Franklin and I did not want to play as any of the other characters. But here I feel like it feels like it's just too much to lose Joel and then Ellie back to back. And why would Dina ever do this? It feels like it has to be a rug pull. It is the only thing I will accept.
Yeah. Okay. First,
I'm just kidding, of course. I will see how the story plays out, but that's what it feels like.
I will accept no Michael slander from GTA 5. That man was a hot mess and was terrible in every aspect of his life.
No, you're accepting it. It's the way Franklin for life.
Okay. No, but I just think for the remainder of this season, yeah, I think this is a rug pull, but I also think the biggest question I have entering this next episode is like, okay, who's really going to be the big bad for the rest of this season? Because obviously you can make the case that because Isaac, this is presuming that he is actually a higher up and this theory is correct, that because he's sort of a higher up, that you could argue, okay, maybe he is the quote unquote final boss of this show and we're introducing him now so that there's some build up. But I think the real reason we're watching this show for me is that we're personally just invested in the story of Ellie and vengeance. And that sort of sets up the situation where Abby is the real final boss. And I hope we see Caitlin again this season, but maybe we have to go through Isaac to actually get to Abby because maybe Isaac is one of the few people who really can pinpoint exactly where she is.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac may just be, if he is sort of the leader, I just feel like they need to be captured at this point. Like, how are the two of them getting out of this? It is a big city, but they seem to have eyes everywhere. And it does seem like Isaac is the person who gets information out of people. We saw that sort of scene with the shower, it looked like.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're going to end up having to get captured at some point or have some sort of confrontation with Isaac, who is going to try to get information out of them about Jackson Hole.
I'm just very excited about this episode in general. I am always a big fan of world building, so I'm really curious to sort of see how this society works, how it's different from Jackson Hole. And I'm kind of like this. Anytime we get a new community, even in The Walking Dead, who has retreaded some of this stuff again and again, which is, you know, understandable. It's been on the air for like a decade and a half. But
yeah, I mean, this particular storyline that we're going into here with the wolves and where it feels very, you know, organized and the tanks and all this, like this is something that we've seen on Walking Dead.
It is, but maybe you guys have some different approaches to it. That's what I'm at least hoping for. But that is where we are entering The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 4. So let us know in the comments, What are you most excited to see? Who is Isaac? Once again, have not played the games. Please, no spoilers. You will make us very, very sad if you post. You do not want to make us sad.
Or maybe you do, but please don't do it anyway.
Yeah. Okay, also be sure to hit that subscribe button for more updates, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. We're covering there exclusively in video form, Criminal Minds Evolution. Murderbot, thank you so much. We'll see you here next time.